All right, let's get this bottle rocket lit. All right, we are recording. Welcome, everybody. Glad you're here. Really appreciate you all joining on Tuesday night. I know you got a lot of places you could be and a lot of things you could be doing, but I love seeing people join this meeting, especially week after week. This lets me know who's serious about this game. Lets me know who's been reading the communications to know that we're even having this meeting. And it's really great to have everybody here. If y'all don't know, if first time joining, my name is Casey Salgi. I'm one of the first members of this team to come on board. Been in this business in the industry for about 15 plus years. I did an energy company for about 7, 8 years. Made it to the top 0.1% of that company. You may have heard of it as Ambit Energy. It was fastest company to $1 billion, and they did it in the energy space. Had a lot of success in that. Did not know what I was doing when I started. I was absolutely green, wet behind the ears, just showed up and did not know what I was doing. I was ignorance on fire. I was hungry, and I had a lot of people pour into me. So it's an honor to be able to pour back into you all with what I learned in that first run that we had in the electricity game. Now, my story is I left that game and I went to another company. It's a health and wellness company. And I did that because there was quite a bit more money on the table. And the company that I had been with for many years, so they were going through some changes. They ended up selling to another company, and comp plans changed, and markets were exited, and just a whole big old mess. Which that's what happens in business. So you dust yourself off, you get started, you one door closes, another door opens, and so jumped into that other company, had a lot of success in there, and helped a ton of people. Took what I learned from the energy business, applied it to a product-based business, and we did a really good job there. Some of you might know the story of that company. Unfortunately, the founders passed away in a tragic airplane crash, and it was devastating to the company, but remaining founder kept it going, held on, and then ended up keeping it running for a couple of years. And then he needed to exit and sell the company, and so merged with another. And as sometimes happens, that company had different ideas on how they're going to operate, and changing comp plans, and a lot of people's checks went from very nice to very non-existent. So I was sitting on a beach, and this opportunity came around for Think Energy, and I was like, man, do I really want to do network marketing? I love the business, I love the teams, I love helping, but ultimately, I'm looking for this for a stream of income. And the last two have, for whatever reason, things have changed. But I was sitting there and I was deciding what I want to do when I was looking at this, and I saw that this was 6 times more the payout of the first energy company that I was with, and we did very well with that. So I was like, I think I might be able to run one more time here. And then on top of that, I knew a lot of people from the previous company. I knew from both previous companies, and I would have a very nice network that I could tap into because I built that years ago. So fast forward to here we are, and could not be more blessed to be a part of this company. If you're thinking about this company, there might be some guests on here. They might be watching the recording down the road. All I can do is tell you to please take a very hard look at this, really, really evaluate this, and make sure you see what it is, because when you understand what we have our hands on, you'll understand that timing is an important thing. It's not the only thing. People can join this company for the next 10 years and make millions. But I promise you there is a first mover's advantage. There's no two ways about it. So if you're looking at this or you're already in, count your lucky stars that somebody thought enough of you to bring this opportunity to you. Same way that I appreciate Mr. David Daniel for bringing it to me, and Tony Procopio bringing it to him. We're really, really blessed to be in the right place at the right time. So with that preamble, what do we do here at Power Hour? It's every Tuesday, same bat time, same bat channel. And the goal of Power Hour is to train. It is to explain, teach, allow you a place to ask questions so that you can get the knowledge of what we do. Coming to Power Hour is not going to directly make you a dime, because we only get paid for doing two things. We get paid to gather a handful of customers, people we know, love, and trust, and we get paid to gather other people that gather customers. So we gather customer gatherers. Those are the two things we get paid to. Coming to Power Hour, not going to do anything for you. Watching a Zoom presentation, not going to do anything for you. Ultimately, what pays the bills is that we are offering a service. It's electricity. Our job, we're not in the electricity business, just so everybody knows. We're in the people business. What we do here is we find people that need a service that Think Energy offers, and we point them to it. Or people that are looking to make an impact, a change in their generational wealth, not only just in their bottom line, but their kids' bottom line. But this is something that can be going on for their kids' bottom line. And that's a big deal if you think about it. So it's what we're looking for. We're looking for people that are hungry. We're looking for people that are coachable. We're looking for people that got a desire. If they don't have those things, this business is probably not going to be for them. And this is a business. Make no mistake about this. This is a business. So what I want to do is I want to talk a little bit about mindset. I want to talk a little bit tonight about how to earn money. And I'm, of course, going to talk about 535. And I'm going to talk about the two simple things with a little bit more detail on what we do. So if you're brand spanking new and you just joined, or you're about to join this weekend or whatever, and you're like, you want to get a head start on what it is we do, I'm going to give you the freshman 101 class of what we do. I'm going to start with that today. What we do is we get customers. How do we get customers? Well, we simply, if you're brand new and you don't know how to even read a bill, you don't need to know how to read a bill. You have people on this team, in this organization, that will literally make money when you get a customer. That means that they are very interested in helping you. Most people think when they start a business that they've got to go out there and do that business on their own. They think they got to be an entrepreneur, and being an entrepreneur typically means you got to go out there by yourself. Maybe you have your spouse or boyfriend, girlfriend, or best friend, and you partnered up, something like that. But it's not just you against the world. It's not just you trying to figure this thing out. This model is so powerful is that it allows you to have a team that is financially incentivized to help you. Anybody that has brought you into the business, there's a lineage of people that came before that person that's here to help you. Now, they might not be able to help you because they're also brand new, but I promise you, go up high enough. If you run into me or Dave, we will help you. So if you're in the organization and you're on Team Mesa, you ultimately roll up to us and we will be here to help you. So I want to get that part out there first thing. A lot of people are like, man, I don't want to bug these guys. They're busy. They got a lot of stuff going on. Bug us, please. Keep us very busy, please. We beg you to do that, right? So we want to be able to help you with that. So you're brand new. What do you do? Well, you got a team. All right, Casey, check mark, got that. Now what do I do? Well, what are these two things that you keep talking about that we do? We gather a handful of loyal customers. How do we do that? If you don't know how to read a bill, doesn't matter. You don't need to know how to read a bill to get a customer. What you do bring to the table is you bring a network of people that you know, potential customers. Those potential customers do something every single month. They pay a light bill. So what we're going to do is we're going to see about getting them to switch, whoever it is that they're paying that light bill to, they're going to now start using Think Energy. So if it's in Texas, they literally get a different light bill. If it's anywhere outside of Texas, the check still goes to the same. There's just a line item that's going to now say Think Energy. That's the outcome that we're looking for. When that happens, money starts flowing out of the sky into your bank account. All right. So that's step one. So you don't actually have to handle the signing them up. You got people that will teach you how to do that. We'll go through, and there's different trainings that we've done. You can go back and look at previous power hours, do a pretty decent job of trying to label them so you know which one's which. And I did a training a couple of weeks ago. So reach out to your team members and say, hey, where's that training? I'm new. How do I actually enroll somebody? You know, how do I read a bill? All that's there. But if you're brand new, you just started, how do you get started? You ask somebody for a copy of their light bill. That's it. Go up to your friend and say, hey, here's the script. Write this down. Hey, do you use electricity? Question mark. They're going to look at you. They're going to say something smart. They might roll their eyes. Something's going to happen. But there's going to be the beginnings of a conversation. And they're going to say, yeah, what's going on? What are you talking about? Why are you acting weird? Hey, would you do me a huge favor? Can you get me a copy of that electricity bill? Yeah, I can do that, but why? look, I just started this brand new project. I'm super excited about it. I'm working with a friend on this thing. I'd love for you to send that to me so that he can show me all the ins and outs on this thing. It lets him know I'm serious about this new project I just started with him, and he's going to train me on all the things I need to know about this. Really? Yeah, absolutely. Can I count on you to get me a copy of your life? I mean, all you need to do is just take a picture of it with your phone and send it to me. That's it. Get a copy of their electricity bill, and then reach out to the person that brought you to the business and have them show you how to read that bill and what to do next. That's what you do. Is anybody confused on that step? If so, please unmute yourself and ask away. Pretty simple stuff. I'm seeing some thumbs up and a lot of still muted boxes. It's that simple. Truly, it's that simple. And if you have a follow-up question, it's like, Casey, I didn't want to ask in front of 20 people. No problem. Reach out to me later. Reach out to your sponsor, person that brought you in. Anybody, we're here to help. But that's what we do on step one. There's a lot more that we can get into, but I want to make this as simple as possible so that you understand how simple this business is. You're not in business by yourself. You're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. You got a ton of people here financially incentivized. You ask people for a copy of their electricity bill. That's the simplest that we can make it. So that's one side. Now, how do I go about getting these customer gatherers that you're talking about? So the second thing that you do is that when you're talking to people, you're going to write these 3 words down for me. Project, friend, visual. Project, friend, visual. Now, I don't want this to take the space in your brain of 535. 535 is still more important, but this is going to be the next one. All right. Project, friend, visual. Call up your best friend. Dave, hey, dude, I just got started with this new project. I'm working with a friend. Man, you need to take a look at this thing. It's completely visual. Can I set up a quick call with you so that you can take a look at this thing? There's your invite. Didn't say electricity, didn't talk about the deregulation of electricity, didn't talk about Lubbock, didn't talk about community solar, didn't talk about TXU, didn't talk about a gazillion other things. Simple. People are bombarded. They have the attention span of a freaking goldfish, which is 6 seconds. This will get their attention or it won't. But it's quick and it's easy and it's repeatable. It's duplicatable and you can do it. 3 words. Hey, working on this new project with a friend. Love for you to take a look at it. It's completely visual. Well, what is it? Visual. It was the 3rd word. Well, what's it about? It's about 15 minutes. Well, can you tell me anything? No, because it's visual. It's not audio. Visual. Can I count on you? Yeah, man, absolutely. Sure. Whatever you got going on. You're my best friend. I'll take a look. It breaks the ice and it keeps you out of getting into word vomiting all over your prospect, telling them 1,000 things that's going to confuse them. And they're going to be like, what? And here's something else for your notes. A confused mind says no. So don't confuse them. Keep it simple, to the point. And the simplest and to the point that you can is 3 things. Project, friend, visual. Copy of light bill. All right. So true. All right. Any questions on that? Okay, Casey, they said, sure. Now what? Find a time when they're available. You available today, tomorrow, or the next day? This is personal. Don't say, are you better available at 3 p.m. tomorrow or 7 p.m. the next day? That irritates the piss out of me. So I'm just going to say it. I wouldn't do that. That's old school. It's what they used to do in Amway. You still want to give them choices, but just say, hey, is today better or tomorrow? Worst case scenario, the next day. But this is urgent. This is a big deal. I really want to get you in front of this man. So then what is it? Well, get them in front of the information. And how do you do that? You call them up at that time. And between the time that you got off the phone and they said yes, you reach out to one of your leaders who knows how to give a presentation and you say, hey, can you do a presentation for this person? And they'll say yes, or they'll say no, because it might not be available. If they're not, you're simply going to do the play button. You're going to call your friend at the designated time, either today or tomorrow or the next day, whatever time y'all came up with. And you're going to get on a Zoom and you're going to hit play. And they're going to watch as you push play. And they're going like, why didn't you just send me this link? Because you wouldn't have done it. Because it won't, right? Because everybody's busy. But if you do it this way, guess what? You have a captive audience and they're going to watch it, and it's short. And with you being there, they're going to sit there and watch it with you. Your goal is to get them to see the information. I see a hand up.
Hey, what's up, Casey?
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, I guess a question that I have is a lot of my I've unfortunately been word vomiting a ton. But another thing that I'm getting is I work in the labor force, blue collar. People are trying to get 65 hours in a work week, and now with it being holidays, like what amount of time do our leaders need to give someone all of the information? Because there's been a couple calls, and even at the event that we had here in Lubbock on Monday, like it was really dragged on, and I just felt like people lost interest when they weren't getting stuff fast.
Yeah, definitely. The events are a big deal, because there's a lot of excitement. They're going to see it's not just a one-on-one thing. It brings a whole lot more proof to the table. It really does. And it brings a lot more information, but sometimes that can not resonate well with certain people. So you need to just kind of use your best judgment on that, but getting them to the presentations, definitely a good deal. And specifically speaking of Monday, I'm not one that's going to sugarcoat it. I heard it was very, very long, and it did not need to be. Feedback was given, changes were made, and I can tell you the presentation because I was there in Houston on Wednesday, was the best presentation that could have been done. And this is coming from a veteran, a professional of 15 years in the business. That was a perfect presentation. It was done amazingly. And so people are kind of getting their sea legs, figuring it out, doing their thing. But sometimes presentations some are better than others, right? But you can always get somebody in front of the video. The goal of this business is when you're getting customers, you're going to get a copy of their light bill. That's one path. On the business partner side, getting the energy advisors in, getting your prospects. The name of the game is get them in front of the information. That's it. Get them in front of the information. They're going to like it or they don't. You don't care if they join or not, but you do care that they make an informed decision. That's a great statement that you can use. You can use that word for word. Hey, man, I don't care if you do this project with me or not, but I do care. You're my friend. I think this is something very special. I don't care if you do it or not, but I do care that you at least take a look, because, man, I'm going to be sitting on a beach in about 3 years, and I'm going to invite you, and you're not going to be able to go because you're trying to clock in 65 hours hammering nails still 3 years from now. I'm trying to do something different. You want to come look? Yes or no?
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Great question. So that's the intro, quick training of what you need to do. Truly is that simple. Get them in front of the information. If you can get a senior leader to be able to give that presentation, do so. If you can push them into one of the Zooms that are coming up, do so. If that won't work, call one of the leaders directly, see if they can do a one-on-one. If that won't work, push play. That ultimately is, I think, one of the greatest ways of doing it is get them that information. Because we're not trying to get anybody. We're not trying to get everybody. There are people, I guarantee you do not want in your business. There have been people that have joined. I'm like, oh, this guy, right? It happens. You don't want everybody. You want to be picky. You want to think of this as a business. This is not setting up your Wednesday night bowling team. You want some people that are actually know what they're doing, right? We're not just going for fun. We're going into business. What do they bring to the table? If they don't know anybody, they can't find $139, and they don't have any marketable skills, That's not who you're looking for. You're looking for somebody that is absolutely going to tear this thing up. So get them in front of the information. The information will weed them out. If they look at that, go, nah, that looks like one of those scam things. There's ways of overcoming objections, but if somebody takes a look at that and that's their first reaction, I promise you, they don't make anything for money. They don't understand money because it's that person that's going to be the most skeptical. The people that don't know how to make money, they don't know how to build networks, they don't know how to do business. Those are the people that are going to look at this or not even look at it and say, that sounds like one of those scam things. And that's so that their ego will be A-okay when they wake up tomorrow at 4 a.m. to go do whatever it is they're doing. I'm not beating up on people that do that. I have done that for so many. I grew up in a mobile home. I got home. I went into a shop, a wood shop. It was hot as heck because it's Houston in a swamp, and work and sweat and do the things, and still got some splinters for sure somewhere in my body from doing that all the time. I'm not beating up on that. I just said, you know what? I've done that. I've done this thing on computer. I like this a whole lot better. That's it. And I had a deep burning reason why. And so I learned some new skills. And it was uncomfortable, but I wanted it bad enough. That's who you're looking for. So make sure you're picky on who you're bringing it to. All right. So a couple things that I want to talk and transition a little bit into is making money. If you're taking notes and you got a piece of paper, flip to another page, and I want you to draw a big old plus sign in there. In the top left corner, I want you to put the letter E, and that stands for employee. The bottom one on the left, I want you to write SE, which is self-employed. Top right, I want you to write B for business owner. Bottom right, I want you to write I for investment. All of these quadrants are great. All of these quadrants, most people go through a season in their life that they're going to be in at least one of them, maybe two, maybe three, rarely four. When you're an employee, what I want you to write in there is dollars per hour. On the bottom one, I want you to write dollars per hour. Top right, I want you to write system. On the bottom right, I want you to put in there dollars making dollars. We're going to talk about this for a little bit. One of life's biggest tragedies is that most people try to increase the amount per hour instead of the hours. That is a basic fallacy that people that are in the employee bucket are taught, latch on to, and it becomes a belief. A belief is just a thought repeated a whole bunch of times. You might have a new thought, but it's not a belief yet. You got to think it a couple times, and again and again and again. You take action on it, and then it becomes a habit. And next thing you know, it becomes a belief system. And that's with any thought. It could be a religion, even. You know, you didn't understand all the players in the religion that you're a part of until you got told those things quite a few times. And next thing you know, now you know the whole story, and now that's something that you're going to believe in. Most beliefs are geographically based. Very interesting. One of the beliefs that has to do with money is you need to be able to increase your dollars per hour. That's what I did. I was earning so much per hour. Well, then how can I make more money? We're looking at the right-hand side of the equation, which is dollars times multiplied by time, hours, dollars times hours. And that's what you're going to make. You work 65 hours, you get paid $10 an hour, $650. How do I make the 650 turn into 1,000? Well, can't make more time. So what I need to do, I need to get paid more. Well, how do I get paid more? I need a better skill. Well, how do I get a better skill? Well, everybody tells me I need to go to this thing called school. I need to get good grades so I can get a degree so they'll pay me more per hour. And you keep doing that. Lawyers get paid a lot of money per hour. I know. Doctors get paid a lot of money per hour. I know. Some of y'all have experienced both of those professions from the wrong side. But ultimately, that surgeon is only going to be cutting on so many people at a time. That lawyer is only going to be, well, I won't say what I was about to say. That lawyer is only doing what lawyers do to that person so many hours at a time. Some of y'all got that. And that's some good money, man. $200 an hour. Ooh, that's all right. What happens when that doctor can't go do his doctoring? What happens when that lawyer can't do their lawyering? What happens when that chiropractor can't do their chiropractoring? Those are some Texanisms for y'all if y'all didn't know. So a whole better way of doing that's what happens in the employee. And that's what happens in the self-employed. Self-employed is people that think they're in business. If you really got a business, that means you have a system. And that means you can leave for months at a time and the business keeps operating. If it can't do that, you don't have a business. You're self-employed. That business owns you. You don't own that business. You've heard those phrases before. Hey, man, would you like to go with us? We're going to do a week-long thing in Alaska. We're going to get on this raft. We're going to bring in everything that we're going to eat and hunt with and fish with. It's going to be awesome. Oh, man, there's no way. You know I can't step away from the factory that long. Man, this place would be burning down if I wasn't here for more than 2 days. That just means you are spending a lot of hours. You went from a 9 to 5 to a 24/7, and you get paid last if there's anything left over. That's what mostly happens in the self-employed box. So I'm going somewhere with this. So now we get over into the business owner side. At the business owner side, that's where you're going to start increasing your hours. How do you do that? How do I increase time? I pay somebody else for their time. That's how you do it. Elon Musk, how many Teslas is he out there working on personally making? Richest man in the world. I'd be interested to know if he could swing a hammer and not break his thumb. He's entertaining from stage. I like some of the things he says from time to time. But how did he do it? Did he do it because he increased how much he was getting paid per hour? No, he increased the number of hours. So somebody else said, you know what? I'll give you my time if you give me this many hours. And every one of you that's an employee, myself included, have decided that I am worth this amount of money. And if you pay me this much, I will show up and do exactly what you tell me to do for the most part. So how do you increase the number of hours? You have to have a business that has a system, and you got to be at the top of that thing. How do you do that? Well, let's talk about a Jimmy John's. I love Jimmy John's sandwiches. How much does it cost to get a Jimmy John's? Franchise, build out, everything. $515,000. That's before any sandwich has been made freaky fast. But after you do that, what are you going to do? You're going to hire employees, people that said, you know what, for $15 for every hour I sit here slapping mayonnaise onto this piece of bread, you pay me $15, I'll make you some sandwiches. Jimmy John's owner says, hell yeah, let's go. How many sandwiches do they make in a day at a Jimmy John's? 500. That is a lot of mayonnaise and a lot of bread that the owner did not apply himself. How much do they make at Jimmy John's? The owner is going to make somewhere between $90,000 and $280,000 per year. I looked at that and I was like, per month, man, that's kind of like what we do here at Think Energy, but unfortunately, they only make that per year. Poor guys, and it costs them $515,000 to get started. Now, I'm good at math, but I'm not a math major. I don't think we spent that much joining Think Energy, did we? $139, not $515,000. Didn't have to go and enter into contracts with massive companies like Shell Oil and other people that windmill farms and solar farms and all the places that we go get energy. Didn't have to go get into a regulated market and get certified by the different public utilities commissions of the 13 states that we're in. We're talking millions and millions and millions of dollars that they had to do to get all of those things. We didn't have to do any of that. What did we have to do? Hey, I got a project, working with a friend, visual, like for you to take a look at it. That's what we did. Then what happened? A system kicks in. You don't have to put the mayonnaise on the bread. When you do that, you find your best friend, and Joe decides, this makes sense. I love this. I know some people. I can get some customers. I don't have to get 500 a day. I got to get 24 in my career. 24, not 500 a day. Don't have to make 500 sandwiches. You got to make 24 sandwiches. What if you got 2 sandwiches a month? Would you be able to keep your Jimmy John's store open? Not Jimmy John's, but you keep your Think Energy store open, wouldn't you? 2 customers. Let's get crazy and go get 5 of them really fast. And guess what? You can make your own sandwich here. You can be your own customer. So go do the 5-3-5. Get your 5 customers. Find 3 people that want to do this business. Working on a project with a friend. It's visual. Love for you to take a look at it. This isn't about what you complete. You don't even have to finish the sandwich. You have to get the sandwich started. And then you hand it over to the next guy. At Jimmy John's, you got one person sitting there, mayonnaise, just getting after it with mayonnaise all damn day, put mayonnaise on. Then it goes the next guy. What do? They put the cheese down. What does the next guy do? They put the meat on. What's the next guy do? They put the veggies. Your job at this Jimmy John's franchise is to say, hey, use electricity. Can I get a copy of your light bill? Or working on a project with a friend. Love for you to take a look at it. It's visual. It is exactly assembly line. It is a system. Box to box to box to box. Process flow to next process flow. And you're a part of it. By doing that, what have you done? You've increased your hours. You now have Al, Bob, and Chuck that have taken a look at the presentation and they want to join. And what are they going to do? They're going to go get 5 customers each. Now, I want your brain to start expanding and realize that you don't have to go get Al's 3 people or Bob's 3 people or Chuck's 3 people. And then those 9 people that came in underneath there, you don't have to go get their people either. And when all those people come in, what are they going to do? They're going to say, hey, you use electricity? Can I get a copy of your light bill? And then it falls right back into the system. And guess what? You now have customers. Did you get those customers? You did not make those sandwiches. Somebody else put their time in there. Why? Because this model called network marketing is the greatest singular power that I've ever come across from a business perspective. For a very low startup cost, not $515,000, but for $139. Not having to deal with regulations, insurance, taxes, lawyers, nothing. You got to deal with me on Power Hour telling you, start a project with a friend. It's visual. Love for you to take a look at it. There's the business. Yes, there's more parts and things, but the simplicity of what I'm telling you is absolutely spot on. By doing that, you're now multiplying exponentially how many hours that you're doing. Now, if you want to get really crazy and blow your mind on the calculator, If you ever did that back in the day, I don't know if you're as much of a nerd as I was, but you get on the calculator and you go 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, and it just gets crazy. And you're like, what if I did 4? 4 times 4 times 4 times 4? It gets crazy. What if I did 10? Same thing here. What if? This is crazy. What if you knew Al, Bob, Chuck, and Dave? What if you got 4? What if you went nuts and called Ed? And then Frank, George, Henry. What if you call all those people? What are you doing? You're making that calculator get to the E where it blows up and explodes much faster. When it hits E, you're retired. You're done. If you want to be. And here's the deal. It won't stop. Right now, I could not stop what we have already set in motion in 4 months. Dave, just for giggles, what is it up to? 300, 400, somewhere in there.
How many total?
Yeah. What are we in the range of? 300,
Almost 400 EAs.
Yeah. And we really got after this thing in August. Yeah. End of July, beginning of August. Could not stop it if I tried. Why? Because it's a perpetual machine now. Because people are coming in and I'm seeing my phone just blink, 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 blink. New person join, new person join, new customer, new person join, new person. Can't keep up. Cannot keep up with. I have no. This person got this person. I can go back in the back office, look at the reports, and I do. I love every single one of those names that pop in there. Because what does that mean? At some level, not by a huge amount, the same way at Jimmy John's, just because they're selling sandwiches doesn't mean that $10 sandwich that the owner of the Jimmy John's is getting $10 for it. Not happening. But he's getting some quarters, he's getting some dimes, he's getting some nickels. That I assure you. How do I know that? Because he made $90,000 to $280,000 a year. Not per month, but per year. So go talk to a Jimmy John's owner, say, hey, if you would like to really start making some bigger money, working on this new project with a friend, it's visual, you probably want to come take a look at it. Like, he owns a Jimmy John's. Yeah, but I promise you that cost that he's got to do there is a whole lot better. Not everybody eats sandwiches, but everybody has electricity. It's absolutely right. Better to get 1% of 100 than 100% of 1. You couldn't stop it if you build it right, if it duplicates. If you're trying to do the presentation, you're brand spanking new and you've been in the business for 4 days and you've never done this before, it's probably not going to work all that great because you're going to do some things that aren't tried and true. You can go start at a Jimmy John's and you say, you know what, this mayonnaise y'all use, I mean, I got better mayonnaise. We should make this sandwich. This is a whole lot. This is my grandma's sandwich, man. This thing is amazing. Let me make you this sandwich. No, that's not what it's a system. That's why we're in the business owner side. Now, when you first get started, are you at the business owner side? No, you're not, because you don't have people in your organization that are working this thing without you. You're self-employed. You're not an employee. You did do good on that, and you got in here and you're at the beginnings of working something with the system. The franchise is there, if you will. This is not a franchise, but the franchise-like concept is here. And when you bring people in, you're going to show them how to have their own franchise. Each time a new energy advisor pops up, I think of that as I just opened a new Jimmy John's restaurant in whatever city that they're in. Every time that thing dings, oh, there's another one. Oh, there's another one. There's another one. And guess what's going to happen? A couple customers are going to come into each one of those Jimmy John's and buy a sandwich. Now, if they don't buy any sandwiches, does that anything happen? No. Same way in this business. If they do not become a customer, nothing happens. That's why that's step one. Can I get a copy of your electricity bill? Any questions on this? Have I lost anybody, or is this landing on y'all? Thumbs up if you're seeing it. Cool. So anytime that you have a business, you got to solve a problem. What's the problem that we're trying to solve? Saving people money. It's not like we got to explain to them that electricity is a good idea. We don't have to go too much into our electricity is made better than their electricity. We just say, hey, it's clean energy. We're not burning fossil fuels. Beyond that, delivered by the same people, handled by the same people, lights burn exactly the same brightness with our energy as anybody else's. So what is it that we're offering them? We have a couple differentiators. The problem we're trying to solve is high costs and unknown variables that are coming in. Those are the things that we're pushing. That's why we take a look at their light bill. We see what we can save them. We switch them over. Or we let them know that we're able to lock in their price for 3 years on a very good rate, which protects against risk. It's a big deal. All right. This was the note that I had from earlier. The less money someone has, the more skeptical they are. I haven't heard anything more true than that in a long time. Now, that's not to say that there's a problem with somebody that's skeptical, okay? I'm not beating up on them. I'm just letting you know, if you hang out with a bunch of chickens, you're going to start noticing some similar features about them. You hang out with a lot of eagles, you're going to notice some similar features about them. Oops. 1 second. Lost my notes here that I wanted to make sure I'm hitting on. So one of the first signs that you're going to know that you're on the right path is that God's going to put you in a different environment with different people, and you're going to run into struggles. That lets you know you're doing something new. So if you get into this business and you start running into people that are like, that lets you know you're on the right path. You're getting into a different sphere of influence. You're breaking the mold from getting paid on an hourly basis to getting paid on a solution that you are ultimately providing to a lot of people and multiplying by your hours. So if you feel like you're struggling or you feel like you're running into some roadblocks, just go back to the basics of what we do. Stop trying to explain everything to them. Follow that system, pass that over to one of your senior leaders, and let us do it. I'm going to gush on Stan a little bit. Stan was working with a guy who owns a big farm, and this guy's a pillar in the community. And Stan was like, hey, how should we approach this guy? And I was like, man, just simply get him on the phone with me and let me do what I do. And he says, you do that? I'm like, of course, man, absolutely, let's do it. And so we find a time that worked. Stan scheduled it. He didn't actually use the words, hey, I'm working on a project with a friend. It's visual. I want you to get on the phone with this guy. But he ultimately accomplished the same thing with what he said to them. He hit those main areas. We got on a phone call. We had 30 minutes. And while we say it's visual, that's just to get them on with the other person, because I can do it visually or without visual. I can just do it on the phone. And that's what I did. And Stan didn't have to do anything other than introduce me and edify me. And when he did that, Stan has trust with this guy. I have proof. You talk to me for more than 3 minutes about this business, you're going to sense that I know what the hell I'm talking about. So it takes those two things for somebody to make a decision. They need trust and they need proof. Stan has the trust. He transferred that trust over to me, and then I gave him the proof. Got done. He loved what he heard. Didn't have any follow-up questions. He joined the business. This guy has a lot of employees. Guess what they all use? Electricity. He has a lot of people coming in and out. A lot of people know him. Stan, simply by having a discussion with somebody and getting them in front of the information, just multiplied himself. He cloned himself with the number of hours simply by having that conversation and following that system. Perfect example. Brian Pensall, another one I'll talk about. He has reached out to this gentleman, talked to him for 4 months, dripped on him, talked to him, trying to get him to take a look at the information. Didn't sit there and give him all the information, just kept dripping on him to see the information. He's met this guy, he's fished with him before, kept at it. Why? Because this guy is a pillar. He knows everybody. He puts on an event, no exaggeration, 50,000 people come to the event. Is it worth spending a little bit of extra time reaching out to these people that are pillars in their communities? Yes. Why? Because what do they know? They know people. They have a network. And we market to that network. It's kind of cool. Let's call this thing network marketing or something. It's a pretty powerful concept. By doing that and finding those eagles, not throwing up all over them, because we've all done that. Oh my God, some of the stories Dave and I can tell you about throwing up on people. Good Lord, just ask us about Maryland one day and ask them about the firehouse story. No, the real estate agent. That was 15 years ago, and that one still stings. Oh, it was horrible. We've all thrown up on people, but change that, learn from it, and look for those people that are pillars, the ones that know the 50,000 people, the ones that are the pillars of the community, the ones that people are constantly coming into contact with. It's worth dripping on them. And here's what I'll find with people like that. You're more nervous than they are, that I can assure you. And two, those people did not get where they're at by saying no to something that they don't understand just yet. They're going to take a look. They might not take a look right away. Because why? Because they're busy. But if you keep at them, you're going to find the magical day where they're available. And it's going to be an hour conversation that we get planned that's going to get dropped down to a 30-minute conversation at the last second. And guess what? That's all we needed. Or it's somebody that's been looked after for 4 months and then finally get them to come to an event and they see it and they're like, whoa, and wants to see more, not ready to jump in, want to do their due diligence, because their words, when I do something, I go all in. That doesn't sound like somebody that's going to try this thing out, does it? These are guys that have made lots of money. And they're coming into this because they see the opportunity to make a lot of money. And I'll also tell you, when they come in for something like this, it's not just about the money, it's about the significance. So make sure when you're selling this to somebody, or you're having the conversations with people, you come at it from where they want, not where you want. Maybe all you want is money. Nothing wrong with that. Maybe all you want is significance. Nothing wrong with that. Maybe you're coming from, you just want to help people. Nothing wrong with that. Maybe you want to just get your time back. Nothing wrong with that. Guess what? All those things, you can get that here by doing this business. It's very, very powerful. So here's another thing. When you work for a living, you're going to have a lot of acquaintances, and those acquaintances are going to have some similar characteristics, and that is they're going to talk about others. They're going to be comfortable. They're going to be secure. They're not going to be as happy as they would like to be, but they're familiar with what they're doing. They gossip about other people. And they got time for all of those things. Just ask them to lunch or just call them up and say, you won't believe what blah, blah, blah did. And they're going, oh, tell me. And they will spend 30 minutes listening to you talk about what this person did. They got time for that. But the moment you say, hey, I want you to take a look at this business opportunity, it's the 12th of December. They say, hey, man, I don't have time for that. It's Christmas time, and, not going to be able to take a look at it. I don't have any time, got the kids and everything like that. You call them up with gossip. They got 2-3 hours a day with you. But you want to show them business opportunity. All of a sudden they're busy for the next 13 days for Christmas. And then the next week after that, maybe they can get to you at the middle of January because they're busy. That's what happens when you're reaching out to people that are just phoning it in. You want to find the people that got a dream. You got to find the people that are hungry. You want to find the people that when you talk, you say, man, I'd really love to do that. Say, you know what? Me too. Not like, man, you're never going to be able to do that. That's not who you're looking for. You want the people that are going to encourage you when you go off. Man, I'm so pumped that you're out there freaking trying this thing and trying to figure out how to do this. And that's just awesome. You say, hey, you know the project I'm doing. You know I'm doing it with some cool people. You need to come take a look at this thing. It's probably not for me, but why would you make that decision without actually looking at it? Why wouldn't you just look? You know, it's a good point. Those are the people you're looking for. Doing it this way sorts out those people you don't want in your business to begin with. So when somebody says no, before even looking at the business presentation, count your lucky stars that they didn't slip through and get in your business, because they are a drain on resources. And then when the golden goose isn't dropping eggs in their lap, they're going to blame everything except you or except themselves for the lack of success. The system's great. It's kind of like the gym, right? You go get a gym membership, and there's a set process on what you do when you get to that gym that you will get results. So there's a system. You're paying for it. If you don't go actually do anything, not going to get the results. Same thing with this business. It's there. Now, there's lots of funny memes on the internet about people going to the gym and using the equipment wrong. You know, they're doing some crazy stuff on some of those videos. So make sure you're doing the system correctly. Make sure you're following these steps correctly. If you're not sure, ask. We are here to help. The next thing and the last thing I want to talk about before we go for tonight is making sure that when you do start bringing people to the game here, energy advisors are joining, you're not responsible for their success, but you do want to help them along the same way that someone helped you along. Make sure they know where to go. Make sure they know about Power Hour. Make sure they know how to take the certification. Make sure they know how to ask somebody to get their electricity bill. Make sure that they know how to say those 3 words in a sentence, that they're working on a project with a friend. Love for you to take a look at it. It's visual. Why do we say the friend part? Because you're most likely, with it as a new guy, not the one that's given that presentation, right? So you're letting them know, hey, I got somebody that's going to be showing you this. I want to make sure I made that clear. All right, 5 minutes left. Any questions before we sign off for tonight? Some good questions earlier. Want to see if there's any before we wrap up. Check the chat.
I'm not shy. I'll ask. Could you explain the process of dripping, please?
Dripping, yes. That is the constant reaching out to a prospect that has not yet seen the information. You're going to drip on them. You're going to say, hey, we've got this thing Wednesday night, Houston, Hilton Galleria. Love for you to come out. Sounds good, man. I'll be there. 7 o'clock. Hey, did you find the parking lot? No, man, I'm not going to be able to make it. Something came up. Hey, no worries, man. No worries at all. Hey, let me tell you, we got this event coming up next Monday. I'd love for you to get on. It's a Zoom. They're going to go over the information that you would have missed there. All right, sounds good. That's dripping on them. Call them up on Saturday, remind them, hey, we got this thing. And if you want, we can get you on. There was another one that just popped up. Love for you to take a look at it if you can. Nah, I'm busy. I got the kids. Hey, no worries. We'll see you on Monday. Yeah, sounds good. Monday. Hey, what about that presentation? Oh, man, I wasn't able to get on. My cat needed a haircut, you know, had to go shampoo the carpet. You're going to hear every freaking Aunt Betty passed away. I thought Aunt Betty died last year. No, there's another Aunt Betty. It happens, man. It's crazy the nonsense you're going to hear, but you just keep dripping on them. Sorry, man, got to go out of town, got to buy a piece of property up in New York. Hey, no worries. We'll hit you when you get back. Hey man, sorry, I had to go to Chicago, do this thing. You want those types of stories, right? That's okay. They're busy. You keep dripping on them. I put up a graphic right after last week's Power Hour, and it was talking about how few times people follow up and how many times you typically need to follow up before someone says yes. Maybe you were a unicorn. Maybe the very moment you saw this, you said, yep, sign me up. Here's my money. Don't say another word. Shut up. Take my money. Maybe you were. Or maybe it took you 12 times before you jumped on board. Those are just numbers. So that's how you drip on somebody. Complete, continuous follow up to get them in front of the information. Good question. Any other questions? Awesome. All right. Well, thank you all very much for jumping on Power Hour. Appreciate you coming. We're going to be working on some more system things. We're going to get these documented so that we have something that we can point to make sure everybody's crystal clear. We've, like any good startup, that's what we're in the middle of, man. It is just get on the rocket ship absolutely as quick as you can. Don't ask what seat, don't ask what floor, just get a spot on there and let's go and grab everybody you can before the rocket ship takes off. That's the mode that we've been going. Now that we're in the rocket ship, we're on our way to Mars. We're going to actually start talking about how do we get the next plane, get the next rocket ship to take off and get there right behind us. So we're going to get out there. We're colonizing this thing. We're doing what we need to do, but we want to make sure that everybody that's coming in are doing the simple things that we need to do, because it does not matter how many people you sponsor if those people are not going out and getting those customers. So let's say it together. 5, 3, 5. Got to get that in before we hang up tonight. 5 personal customers, 3 business partners, and help those 3 get 5 customers. Rinse and repeat till retired. All right, everybody, go ahead and mute yourself. Say goodnight to everyone, and we'll see you at the next one. Thanks for coming tonight.
Appreciate it, Casey.
Have a good evening.
Thank you, Mr. Salji. Bless everybody.
Night
Thanks,
all.
everyone.
Thanks, Casey.
Great
job, Stan.
Hey, keep killing it, Stan. You're
Great
doing great.
job.
Thank
you.
Thanks, Casey.
Thank you.
Great job.
Appreciate it. Bye, everybody.